Hey, I'm Jason, and this is my 300-mile review of the Khaos 9R 325. Here's my 2024 Polaris Khaos 9R with the 325 Series 9 track. It's a 155, and those lugs are 3¼ inch tall. It has just over 300 miles on it. That's 500 kilometers. And I've had it out for 8 rides now in varying conditions. I've mostly done free riding in meadows and trees, some climbs, but basically anywhere we could find deep snow with a decent base. So the absolute #1 benefit of getting a 9R is the acceleration you get out of this 9R power plant. This is also a Khaos, and again, that gives you the better suspension than the Pro RMK. It gives you a longer center shock in the skid, which helps with weight transfer. That gets the front end up feeling a little lighter, more playful. It does like to wheelie, and that's probably not the best for performance. It's not going to get you that high mark if that's what you're going for. You'd probably be better off with a Pro RMK if you're thinking like overall capability. I've ridden a ton of different Pro RMKs, and I find that that front end likes to stay down, planted, keeping it predictable. The sled prefers to drive forwards instead of the Khaos where it likes to get the front end up. Do tons of wheelies. It's the party animal for sure. Watch how fast you can get the hood and side panels off this thing. Side panel 2. No tools required. So if you need to do some work to your sled while you're out on the snow, comes off really easy. That's it. So here's that 9R engine I was talking about. Polaris calls this their factory mod, and I can see why. It's the best performing naturally aspirated 2-stroke I've ever ridden. It has instant throttle response due to its lightweight crank and flywheel. Plenty of torque and tons of power. So compared to the 850, the 9R revs up way faster. The front end gets up in the air way quicker, and overall the sled just feels lighter. This 155 325 track is awesome too. Polaris really said that it likes to drive forwards, and they weren't lying. I've ridden the 2.6 track quite a bit this year and the 275, and whereas the 275 likes to spin a little bit, this 325 tends to just claw into the snow, and you can really feel the traction. It's not slipping, and that helps you get up on top of the snow and go fast. Compared to a boost, the 9R feels so much lighter. It revs up a little quicker off the bottom, feels lighter on the skis, it's less tiring. I've ridden this 2 days in a row, and I feel like I could actually go 3 days in a row. Whereas the boost, I tend to get a bit of arm pump right away. Get that boost out on the open snow though, get the speed up, and it's a lot of fun. As far as I know, this 9R is the lightest mountain sled on the snow in that 850 to 900 category. I put this RPM titanium can on, and it took about 11 pounds off. That's stock Muffler. I have it over here. This stock Muffler is quite heavy. It's close to 16 pounds. And when you have a titanium lightweight can like this on there, you really do notice that weight savings, especially when you're side hilling or you're in the trees and you're trying to go side to side. I really like this one. It is lightweight and quiet, and you can run a muff pot so you can cook your lunch. Looks pretty damn cool too, right? This Matrix chassis has been awesome too. It's an evolution of the Axis chassis. I'd say the biggest change is this fuel tank. You'll notice that the weight of the fuel is centered towards the rear. And with a Khaos, that really helps the sled get the front end lighter. It makes it feel just that much lighter. So I wouldn't buy a sled without this 7S display. I know it's a lot of money. It's such an easy display to read. Like, your RPM is huge. Glance down, quickly see your RPM. The best part about this for me is if you're exploring new areas, you can set your tracks and then you can follow the track you set out. So if you're worried about getting lost, this is the display for you. You can set waypoints. You can load up a previous ride too to follow your tracks in like we did in Fernie. Another standout feature of this is the safety it provides. If you have somebody else in your group that has this display, you can set them here. In a previous ride, Colin had an issue and he radioed me and I was able to find him on the map and get to him under a minute. And I think that's huge, especially if you're out of radio range and you're trying to find your group. You can just pull them up on the map and see exactly where they are or where they last shut their sled off. Another awesome thing about this is you got this humongous storage here where you can fit a big pair of gloves. I put my GoPro batteries in there, some food, granola bars. I put everything else like my toque in this handlebar bag, and then I have my tunnel bag as well. So no shortage of storage on the Matrix chassis. Some other things I really like about this sled are the new hand warmers and thumb warmer that you get with the Matrix chassis. I found on the Axis that my thumb warmer was always too cold. I also had reliability issues with the hand warmers on my 800 Axis. I had the left one quit working one day, brought it in for warranty, had the right one go. But so far so good, these are great. On a real cold trail ride, I still find that they're not quite warm enough, even on high. So I run hand guards and heated gloves and my thumbs and fingers are just fine. All your controls are down here, nice and out of the way. So you have your hand warmer high, medium and low, and then you got your light switch here. You have the tether from factory now as well. And your key goes down here. Other nice improvement for 2024 is the new brake caliper and rotor. This has great response, great feel in the brake. The lever, I find, has the perfect reach for my hands, and the throw, I'm getting used to it now. I also run a guard here just to protect that reservoir because it is plastic. Coming back down here, we have the quick drive, the QD2. And that's just super light, super responsive, makes the sled feel great. We still have the React front end. This gives you pretty good trail manners and it really helps you initiate those side hills, helps you get it up on edge. I'm really liking the overall setup of this sled from factory. These are the Walker Evans high-low adjustable velocity shocks that you get on the Khaos, and I actually haven't touched the suspension at all yet. Another nice upgrade is the new Scratchers. They're reversible, so if you throw it in reverse, you're not going to break them off. My friend Trent has the older style Scratchers, and he was going up an icy trail, and he started to slide back a little bit, and his ice scratchers snapped off. It was on a day when he really needed them to, harder snow. It has pretty substantial hardware. I've never had issues with my sliders. I've never tweaked a rail. I've had Polaris snowmobiles since 2012 and I have never fouled a plug. I know guys were having issues with their 9R spark plugs last year, but so far so good. I haven't fouled any. This engine runs super crisp, super clean. I like how they have a belt holder here under the hood. There's a spot to run plugs if you want here. I keep them in my tunnel bag. Super easy to work on this thing too. That hood came off so quick. Here's your oil reservoir. This is the P22 clutch, and I know people were having issues with this last year, but I haven't had any problems. I keep this clutch bolt torqued to 110 foot-pounds. Polaris makes awesome belts too. I have never had an issue with a Polaris belt. Again, riding Polaris sleds for 12 years, I've never blown a belt. I'd say I'm pretty easy on my stuff too. Like I don't run it hard for an hour straight. I'll take breaks, let things cool down. Doesn't burn a lot of oil either. Also doesn't stink like some other brands do. These are the gripper skis, and I would say that they're some of the best skis in the business. I have some ski boots on here just to protect my shop floor. But this ski has a keel design. It has a center keel, and that helps you get the sled up on edge, and then you can keep it there too. Gives the sled really good balance. So if I were you, well, for me, I would never change out those skis. I think those grippers are the best anyways. Great flotation. Super predictable handling. They don't dart on the trail. I know some sleds I've ridden, the ski design is actually what causes some of the handling issues and can, you know, you get pointed towards a ditch, you're going into that ditch. This sled also has the lock and ride flex system. I have the bag off right now. I bring it in and let things dry out, and then I pack all my food and gear the night before, and that Helps me get ready at the staging area quite a bit quicker than normal. And I usually don't forget anything because I've already packed it all, gone through my checklist. So these are Polaris's extruded aluminum boards. They have tons of clearance. Like snow doesn't really get hung up there too bad. I find that with the painted tunnel, it prevents ice buildup as well. I use a little orange plastic knife to clear the snow off there instead of kicking the boards with my boots. In the past, I would kick the snow to clear the boards, and then I would end up cutting the bottoms of my soles, my outsoles on my boots, and pretty soon I'd have a hole. But with these boards, I haven't had to buy a new pair of boots in 8 years. So pretty happy with them. They have them closed up here now, so no snow can get down into your quick drive. But I like how they have this opening here built right into the toe loop area, just to exhaust some heat. Check it out on the other side too. To me, that is just such a nice touch. The overall quality and feel of these Polaris sleds has really improved over the years. So my bar selection of choice is this gray, it's kind of this graphite color. That's their 6-inch bar, I believe. 1 inch higher is silver, and then 1 inch lower is their black one. For me, I'm 6'4". This is the perfect bar height for me. It's lower than I've ran in the past, but you eventually get used to it. It helps you get out when you're doing your wrong foot forward. That lower bar helps you get out further and you get more leverage. And your hands, when you're on a lower bar, your hands are closer down to your hips. And that, again, that just gives you more power, more strength, more leverage. I find higher bars, your elbows are kind of bent up higher and you're not getting full power. It's a great seat too. It's nice and light, slim, low profile. I like the flat top so you can set things there when you're taking a break. It's really comfortable, super grippy. It's carved out here, so again, you can maneuver a little better on the trail or standing. That blends in with the tank there. It's just kind of sculpted. So we have the Matrix Slash. This is the shortened, tapered tunnel. There's no snow flap. The track actually sticks out further than the tunnel does. And that just helps you get that track down to the deep base. If, say, you're in some deep snow, that track can dig down further before the boards will hit the snow. In the past, if you dug too deep of a trench, your boards would get hung up on the snow and that would cause you to get stuck. So you're gonna get stuck less. You're just gonna keep riding, keep going a little bit further before you get stuck. So it's not all rainbows and sunshine with the Polaris sled. There are some negatives. One of them is the electric start. I would never buy electric start, mainly because you have to put a bigger, heavier battery on and you have to put a ring gear on the primary clutch. And I don't want to be adding any rotational mass to that clutch. I like that lighter, rippier feel with no electric start. So I always opt for pull start. And one thing I will say about the 9R, it's a little tight. It is not what I would say hard to start, but it's not easy to start either. Another thing too, even though this 325 track is awesome and this is the track that I will always opt for in the future, it is very tall and there's quite a bit of flex. And when you're driving down the trail, you're gonna generate some heat in this track. So Polaris recommends you keep the speed under 50 miles an hour if you're riding at that speed for extended periods. And I've noticed that on a groomer, say you have a fresh groomed trail, it seems a little slow. At the same time, I found myself kind of looking around, enjoying the scenery a little bit more. And that reminds me of riding with my parents back in the day. We would ride kind of slow, take tons of breaks, but we would be looking around, looking up above us, looking at the mountains, checking the place out. And I'm kind of digging that riding style. Another thing I think Polaris can improve on is this bumper. It's nice and up and out of the way. I wouldn't call that a strong bumper, but I do wish that it was a little bit better for towing. Say you had to tow another sled out. I would probably attach my tow strap here onto the back of the running board. Just a little bit more strength there. The front bumper, again, it's just, for me, it's more cosmetic than anything. It's somewhere to grab onto if you're trying to get the sled unstuck. So one other thing I think Polaris can improve on is the options that they give you for their clutching. This came with the high elevation clutching, which is geared at 7,000 to 9,000 feet, but I only ride 5,000 to 7,000 feet. And with the 72 gram weights that this comes with in the primary, I was revving way too high, 8,700 RPM. So I ended up buying some aftermarket weights from Bikeman. They're sniper weights. I ended up with 74 grams of weight overall, and that brought the RPM down to 8,400 RPM, which is perfect. But yeah, if Polaris could give you that option for 5,000 to 7,000 feet, that's gonna make a lot of guys happy that ride out here in Western Canada, where it's our typical elevation. Well, that's my 300-mile review on my Polaris 9R. Hopefully that gave you some food for thought. SnowCheck 2025 is just around the corner. What do you think they're gonna do this year? Put it down in the comments. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.